Welcome back to the Power in Your Voice podcast. We would like to first say thank you to those who tune in week after week, those who share the link on various platforms. Thank you. Y'all, this season, we are excited to bring you some hot and new topics. We are ready to push you further into your destiny. If you feel stuck or even overwhelmed, I want you to tune in and have a mind of expectancy, because we believe that if you challenge it, it will change.
Welcome back to the Power in Your Voice. You know my tagline, challenge it and it will change. And I'm telling you, we are up to some challenges. Hey, I want to say welcome to all of my guests, all of my friends, all of my people that follow this podcast. I thank you so much for all that you do. I know we have missed a couple of times, but there have been so many things going on in our lives. But I'm so glad that you were still checking and to see what we were doing. So thank you for coming back to be supportive to the Power in Your Voice podcast. You all know this is Love Month. We're still in Love Month, and I pray that the love is coming down. I pray that all things are working out for your good. I want you to know that we're not going to stop loving ourselves and stop doing what we know that is right. So I want to make sure I make these things clear, because I'm telling you, you never know what your listeners may gather, because people gather all types of things. But I want you to gather the right message of what we're putting out. Come on, team. We're going to be talking about going along to get along. This is a tough topic right here, because this could be so misunderstood. Davion, what do you think about that topic? Talking about going along to get along. This Love Month. Talk about it.
I like this. I like this topic because for a personal reason, because y'all know Jada's what she's going to school for, right? In law. And it's funny because we got two different personalities. So like Jada is like, you know how people have to be in law, like lawyers, they gotta be like, they drive their point, right? They want to win the case. And me, I'm more so down the lane of like, you know, I'm more so like, I guess you could say like counseling, psychology, like that lane, right? So a lot of times we have conversations, and naturally, because I don't have that mindset, like, you know, like we have two different mindsets, I'll naturally just be like, you can have it, like you got it. But it works for our good, because that's just like, that's how we are. So she needs that, and I don't even think like she needs it like a pride thing, but it's just like it's a part of who she is. And like it doesn't bother me to do that either, because that's not what I necessarily do. But I think that it's important, because a lot of times it's really like not that big of a deal, if we're just being honest. You know, I think that it's important for us to understand when not to compromise. And I think for me personally, I don't compromise in a lot of areas, but that's when it like comes to jeopardizing you know, my home, my household or something like that. But outside of that, it's like things be so little that it doesn't really matter if I say, you know, you can have it. It's not that big of a deal. Would you rather be right, or do you want it to be fixed? That's what some guy told me a long time ago, is do you want to be right, or do you want to be good, like with your spouse? Like what matters more to you? So yeah.
You know, Davion, you said a lot of important things, but what stuck out to me was that pride. And even though you said my wife doesn't have that, so many couples have that pride to to either try to push their way through, or the other one try to push theirs. You know, we try to drive points, and I like it because with Jada being going to school for law, that is now a part of her to drive a point. So Jada, come on, weigh in on this. Talk to me.
When Davion was talking, y'all, I was over here kind of smiling because there are times where I do feel the need to drive a point when I feel like it's something important. But I think how he perceives it is that's just how I am in general. And I think sometimes that I'm just talking, but I think I naturally do that with a lot of things, and I get real passionate. And I don't know. I feel like he said, there's just certain times where you got to push your point if it's something important. But if it's not, you can easily get caught up in arguments over little things, trying to get your way.
Oh, this is a good, tough topic. Oh my God. Because you know what? We know that this thing can go either way. Y'all, I have my son Wes over here. And when he was dating my daughter at a very young age, and he was in the military, and he used to wear this afro, because this is love month. We're talking about, you know, you're loving yourselves and loving your spouse and all those things. And he had this afro. And he wanted to because we're talking about driving a point, knowing how to go along to get along. And I told him, if you wanted to date my daughter, you need to get your hair cut. Come on, Wes, talk to me. Because he said I took his personality. Come on, Wes. He brought it up. He went all the way back to the 90s. So we're going to talk about it in 2000.
That's good. But yeah, you told me I had to get my hair cut, you know. I had my afro was looking pretty good, but you know, I had to cut it because you said if I wanted to date, you know, Nisha, date your daughter, then I had to go get a haircut. So, you know, I did because that's what I wanted. So I went and got my haircut. So I guess you can say that was going along to get along.
I like that. I like that. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Wes. Because so many times we push our opinion or our way on other people. You said it yourself. You said my afro looked good, wasn't nothing wrong with it. And then here this lady talking about, I want to date her daughter, but in order for me to date her daughter continually, you didn't know if I was serious. You didn't know if I was going to allow you to continue. But you said, I'm not going to miss this opportunity.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not going to let a haircut come between me and this relationship. Oh, this just got real good to me right there. Because so many times people allow their things to get in the midst of their relationship. And they don't want to bow down, or they don't want to do what is necessary to keep their loved one. Come on, y'all. This is good. Talk to me.
Submit. Don't want to submit.
Don't
want to submit. So that was so that was important. You know, it was okay to have the hair and everything, but it was more important what I was wanting, you know, and in that relationship. So you had to, you know, I had to weigh like, okay, what, you know, which is it? You know, what's more important? Is it, you know, trying to keep this hair and you know, at the time, because I was so young that you know, I probably did have a thought like, man, you know, she don't even really know me. You know, how she gonna tell me to get my hair cut and stuff? But it was okay. It was okay. At the end of the day, I have no regrets. You know, it worked out great. And you know, I did it because I knew that if I did want to date her, then that's what I had to do. So it was okay to some things are worth giving up for the sake of you gaining something greater. So it was worth it. So no regrets.
That's good. That's good. Come on, Davion. I see you. Come on through.
Yeah, I like that. That's good, because to me, what you just said right there, it's like, I guess you saw the bigger picture, and I think yours is like you saw the bigger picture, like you wanted to be with mom, right? So it's like, you was willing to cut your hair, and you saw the bigger picture in that way. That's what I'm hearing you say. But I even think about, like, married couples who maybe, like, if I even draw this picture out, like you're on a date and you say something or something happens during the night, and y'all and we end up talking about it, like, this is just so real. Like, you start talking about it, and it's like, remember you said this, and then you'd be like, no, I said this. And it's like, no, you said this. And everybody having a good night. You start getting serious, you start going back and forth. I remember what I said. No, I heard you. And it get to this point, right? What if you saw the bigger picture and you go, just about to say, this is what you said. You say, no, I said this. And they say, you said this. Next time, oh, yeah. No, that's right. Because most of the time, it's so little. That's why at the beginning of the podcast, I like that you said that, Granny, because it's not that you're saying, the point isn't about compromising to the point where you are losing your identity. That has nothing with you losing your identity. That's a point of, okay, do I want us to keep having a good time tonight, or am I willing for it to be weird and awkward over a statement that it could have been a word or two that we're saying I did or did not say. So it's the bigger picture that I like that point. That's important.
I do, y'all. I gotta bring Jaylin in on this conversation because she's been missing in action a little bit in our conversation. But I just want to bring her on, and we're talking about going along to get along. Jayla, talk to me.
I was hoping you was gonna call me because I got a lot to say. But let me tell you, I love myself, and I know. Let me tell the Power Your Voice family. They don't know Jalen Rochelle, but Jalen Rochelle, she know what she wants. And so I have to learn when to back down and when to rise up, because I can be so strongly opinionated. Because when Jalen Rochelle come out, Jalen Rochelle know what she want. Jalen Rochelle gonna get what she want. And so Jalen Rochelle has to learn when to back down and say, okay, like Davion said, and say, okay, you know what, you right. It's not about me being right. It's about us progressing forward. So that is what I would say about going along to get along. But also know what you're going to accept and know what you're not going to accept. Because, I mean, a lot of stuff is going to be presented to you, and you have to be like, okay, I'll take that. But then there comes a point where you're like, no, I'm not taking that anymore. Like, that's not going to slide with me. So it's just all about, really, it's just about balance. It's just about balance and knowing who you are and sticking with it.
I like that. I like that, Jayla Rochelle. I tell you, the reason why I love this topic is because so many times people don't know, as Davion said, and Wes said, they don't know how to see the bigger picture. We need to know what is serious and what is not serious, what we want and what we do not want. Now, going back to Wes, getting his haircut. Somebody may say that is so simple, that is so dumb. But when he came, I wasn't just talking about his right then. I was talking about his future. He was in the military. And in the military back in the 90s, they had a way that they had to have their hair. He was out of the code. So I did not want him to get in trouble. So it wasn't just about daughter. I want him to say, if you're going to be with my daughter, we need to see where your future going. We need to know if you're going to learn and be obedient to the commands that they have given you. Do you know how to follow orders? Do you know how to submit? Do you know how to humble yourself? All of those things was in play. And a lot of times people do not know how to do that. And that's what happens in our marriages. That's what happens in our relationships. We don't know the difference. We don't know when to be humble. We don't know when to submit. We don't know when to pull back. We don't know when. You're not the only person that's in the relationship. So if your partner is saying this or that, when do I know how to pull back or just go along with it? I have to know the seriousness of my relationship and what is going on. Because as Jalen have said, there's a lot of things that we don't have to accept. That's not what I'm talking about, doing that to get along, because there's no need to be in no relationship if you can't come to compromise. You'll forever be going in circles, roller coasters. So I don't want to just encourage any marriage. I want you to know there's a sacrifice that we all have to do, and know that your spouse is very important, because Wes realized and he knew that Renice was very important. So he didn't know if I was going to stop him from dating her. But one thing he did know, I want this girl. So he did what was necessary. Oh, that was good right there. So I want to encourage you today, wherever you are and however you're listening, do what is necessary to go along, to get along. I love you all. Continue to be in your love month. Peace out.
Know that life can be hard at times, sometimes even unbearable. But know, when we are weak, God is strong. Let's take off the world's expectation of us and ask God, what do you expect of me? We ask that you like, comment, and subscribe. Have a blessed week, and see you next week.